The wooden spoon slipped from my hand and clattered onto the kitchen floor. Blood rushed to my face as I stared at Michael, my son-in-law, standing in the doorway with his arms crossed like a prison guard. His jaw was clenched tight, and his eyes burned with something I'd never seen before. Pure hatred. "What did you just say?" I whispered, my voice barely audible over the bubbling pasta sauce on the stove. I'd been making Emma's favorite dinner, the same recipe I'd cooked for her since she was 7 years old. The same meal that used to bring smiles and hugs and thank yous. Michael stepped closer, his 6-foot frame towering over me. I said, "You need to pack your things and get out of my house. Tonight." His voice was ice cold, each word hitting me like a slap. "Emma's tired of supporting you, and frankly, so am I." My knees went weak. This was the same man who'd called me dad just 3 months ago when he'd moved into my house after losing his job. The same man who'd promised to help with expenses but hadn't paid a single bill. "Michael, I don't understand," I said, reaching for the counter to steady myself. "This is my house. I've lived here for 22 years. Emma grew up in this house." His laugh was cruel and sharp. "Your house? You haven't paid the mortgage in 4 months, old man. Emma's been covering everything while you sit around playing house." He pulled out his phone and waved it at me. "Want to see the bank statements? Want to see how much your lazy lifestyle is costing us?" The room started spinning. For months? That couldn't be right. I'd been paying the mortgage religiously since my husband died 5 years ago. Sure, things had gotten tight since I'd hurt my back and couldn't work as much, but Emma said she wanted to help. She said families supported each other. "I never asked Emma to pay my mortgage," I stammered. "She offered to help temporarily while I recovered from my injury. I've been looking for work." Michael snorted. "Looking for work? You mean sitting on the couch watching soap operas while my wife kills herself working 2 jobs to keep this dump afloat?" My hands shook as I turned off the burner under the sauce. Emma loved this sauce. I'd taught her the recipe when she turned 16, passing down my mother's secret ingredients. We'd spend hours in this kitchen, laughing and talking about boys and dreams and the future she wanted to build. "Where is Emma?" I asked quietly. "I want to talk to her about this." "Emma's working late again, trying to pay for your mistakes." Michael stepped closer, so close I could smell the alcohol on his breath. "She's too nice to throw you out herself, so I'm doing it for her. Consider it my gift to my wife." I backed against the counter, my heart pounding. This has to be some kind of misunderstanding. Emma would never ask me to leave. This is my home. Not anymore. Michael pulled a folded paper from his pocket and threw it at me. It fluttered to the floor like a dying bird. "Eviction notice. 3 days to get out or the sheriff will remove you forcibly." I bent down slowly to pick up the paper, my arthritis screaming in protest. The official letterhead blurred through my tears as I tried to read the legal language that would destroy my world. "You can't evict me from my own house," I said, clutching the paper with trembling fingers. "I'm on the deed. I've been making payments for over 20 years. Michael laughed again, that same cruel sound that made my skin crawl. "Read the fine print, Grandma. When Emma started making payments, she had you sign some papers, remember? Transfer of ownership for tax purposes," she said. His smile was pure evil. "Congratulations. You signed away your house to help your daughter, and now your daughter wants you gone." The memory hit me like a truck. 3 months ago, Emma had come to me with a stack of documents and her sweet smile. "Dad, these are just formality papers so I can help with the mortgage payments. Tax stuff. Trust me, it's better this way." I'd signed without reading, trusting my only child completely. I trusted her. I whispered, more to myself than to Michael. "She's my daughter, and I'm her husband. Her family now. You're just dead weight." Michael checked his phone and frowned. "Emma won't be home until midnight. Plenty of time for you to pack your essentials and disappear." I straightened my spine, finding strength I didn't know I still had. "I'm not going anywhere until I talk to Emma face to face. She can tell me herself if she wants me to leave." Michael's expression shifted from smug to dangerous. "That's not how this works, old man. You don't get to make demands in my house." He stepped forward, backing me further into the corner between the counter and refrigerator. "Your house." The words came out stronger than I felt. I raised Emma in this house. I buried my husband from this house. Every room holds 22 years of memories. You've been here 3 months. 3 months longer than I wanted. Michael was so close now I could see the veins in his bloodshot eyes. "You want to know the truth? Emma's embarrassed by you. You're an old man who can't take care of herself, living in the past, dragging us down. My back hit the refrigerator door. The magnets holding Emma's childhood drawings rattled, and one of her school photos fell to the floor. Her smiling 8-year-old face stared up at me from the linoleum. Emma loves me, I said, but my voice sounded weak even to my own ears. She wouldn't do this. Not without talking to me first. Emma loves the idea of you, Michael corrected, his breath hot on my face. The memory of the father who used to take care of everything. But you're not that person anymore, are you? You're just a burden. The word hit me like a physical blow. Burden. The same word I'd been terrified of becoming ever since my husband died. The reason I'd struggled to work despite my back injury. The reason I'd never asked Emma for help until she offered. I've never been a burden to anyone, I whispered. I worked 3 jobs to raise Emma alone after her mother left. I put her through college. I helped with her wedding. Everything I had went to making sure she had a better life than I did. Michael's hand slammed against the refrigerator beside my head, making me flinch. That was then. This is now. And now you're in the way. The kitchen fell silent except for the hum of the refrigerator and my ragged breathing. Move, Michael growled, but I stayed frozen against the refrigerator door. My legs wouldn't obey my brain's command to run. 22 years of memories held me in place like roots in soil. I said move. Michael grabbed my shoulders and spun me away from the refrigerator. I stumbled, my bad back sending lightning bolts of pain down my spine. My knees buckled, and I fell hard onto the kitchen floor, my palms scraping against the rough linoleum. Please, I gasped, struggling to push myself up. Don't do this. Let me talk to Emma. Emma doesn't want to talk to you. Michael stood over me like a giant, his shadow blocking the ceiling light. She asked me to handle this because she's too soft-hearted to do what needs to be done. I managed to get to my hands and knees, my back screaming in agony. The eviction notice lay crumpled beside me where it had fallen. Through my tears, I could see Emma's childhood drawings still clinging to the refrigerator door. Her stick figure family with the word, love, written in purple crayon. You're lying, I said from my position on the floor. Emma would never ask someone else to throw me out. She would talk to me herself. Michael crouched down beside me, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper. You really don't get it, do you? Emma's been complaining about you for months. How you've let yourself go. How you don't contribute anything. How she's tired of carrying dead weight. I tried to stand, but Michael pressed his hand on my shoulder, keeping me down. She said you used to be strong, independent. Now look at you. Pathetic. I'm recovering from surgery, I protested. The doctor said it would take time to heal properly. Emma understood that. Emma was being polite. Michael's grip tightened on my shoulder. But politeness doesn't pay bills. Your medical expenses are bleeding us dry, and you're not getting any younger or more useful. The cruelty in his words took my breath away. This was the man my daughter had married. The man she'd chosen over her own father. I looked up at Michael from the floor, seeing him clearly for the first time. His clothes were expensive, designer brands I recognized from the shopping trips Emma used to take me on. His watch cost more than I used to make in a month. Yet he was talking about my medical bills bleeding them dry. How much does Emma make at her job? I asked quietly. Michael's hand jerked away from my shoulder. That's none of your business. She's my daughter. Her well-being is absolutely my business. I slowly pushed myself to my feet, ignoring the pain shooting through my back. And if she's working 2 jobs to support this household, where's your contribution? I'm between opportunities right now, Michael said, his confident mask slipping slightly. The market is tough for someone with my expertise. What expertise is that? I pressed. What exactly do you do for a living, Michael? His face flushed red. I don't have to explain myself to you. I'm not the deadweight in this family. The truth hit me like a revelation. Michael wasn't working at all. You're unemployed, I said, the pieces clicking together. Emma's working 2 jobs because you're not working at all. Michael's jaw clenched. That's temporary. I have several prospects lined up. How long have you been unemployed? I asked, standing straighter despite the pain. How long has Emma been supporting both of us? That's between Emma and me, Michael snapped, but I could see the guilt in his eyes. No, it's between all of us since I'm supposedly the burden here. I took a step toward him, and he actually took a step back. Emma's been paying my mortgage while supporting her unemployed husband, and you have the nerve to call me dead weight? Michael's face twisted with rage. At least I'm young enough to be worth the investment. You're just circling the drain, taking everyone down with you. The cruelty of his words should have destroyed me, but instead they lit a fire in my chest. This man was using my daughter, manipulating her, and turning her against me to hide his own failures. Get out of my way, I said firmly, taking another step toward the kitchen doorway. I'm going to call Emma right now. Michael blocked my path, his bulk filling the narrow space between the kitchen island and the wall. Emma's at work. She doesn't have time for your drama. Then I'll drive to her workplace. I moved to go around him, but he grabbed my arm, his fingers digging into my flesh. You're not going anywhere, he snarled, his grip tightening. You're going to pack your things like a good little old man and disappear from our lives. Let go of me. I tried to pull away, but his hand was like a vice around my arm. You're hurting me. I'm barely touching you, Michael lied, his grip getting tighter. This is what happens when dinosaurs don't know when to go extinct. Pain shot up my arm, but I refused to give him the satisfaction of crying out. Emma will never forgive you when she finds out how you treated me. Michael leaned closer, his voice a threatening whisper. Emma will never find out, because you're going to leave quietly and never come back. And if I don't? I met his stare without flinching. What then, Michael? His other hand shot out and grabbed my throat. Not choking, but threatening. A promise of violence wrapped in restraint. Then things get unpleasant for everyone involved. My heart hammered against my ribs, but I kept my voice steady. Are you threatening me in my own home? This isn't your home anymore, he reminded me, his thumb pressing lightly against my windpipe. And I'm not threatening you. I'm explaining reality. I could barely breathe, but I managed to whisper, Emma will see right through you eventually. Emma sees what I want her to see, Michael said with sick confidence. She thinks you've been acting strange lately. Paranoid. Maybe even losing your mind a little bit. The realization hit me like ice water. You've been poisoning her against me. Michael smiled, and it was the most terrifying expression I'd ever seen. Smart man. Too bad you figured it out too late. Michael released my throat and stepped back, leaving me gasping and dizzy. Here's what's going to happen, he said conversationally, as if he hadn't just assaulted me. You're going to write Emma a nice letter explaining that you've decided to move to a retirement community. You've realized you can't handle living alone anymore. I'll never do that, I wheezed, massaging my throat. Yes, you will. Michael pulled his phone from his pocket and held it up. Because if you don't, Emma's going to receive some very disturbing photos of her mother in a compromising position. I stared at him in horror. What are you talking about? Hidden cameras, sweetheart. I've been documenting your decline for months. Emma's going to be so concerned about your mental state when she sees you talking to yourself, wandering around confused, maybe even having some embarrassing accidents. My blood turned to ice. You've been recording me in my own home? Michael shrugged. Insurance policy. Emma's going to think you need professional help, maybe even involuntary commitment. The full scope of his manipulation became clear. You planned this from the beginning, I breathed. Moving in here, getting the house signed over, recording me without my knowledge. I saw an opportunity and took it, Michael said proudly. Emma's too trusting, too sentimental about family. She needed someone to make the hard decisions for her. You're destroying her family for your own gain. I'm securing our future. Michael pocketed his phone and crossed his arms. Emma deserves better than supporting a declining parent and worrying about medical bills and end-of-life care. I'm freeing her from that burden. I looked around my kitchen, seeing it with new eyes. The cameras could be anywhere. Hidden in smoke detectors, picture frames, appliances. How long had I been living in a prison without knowing it? Where are they? I asked quietly. The cameras. Michael smiled that cruel smile again. Everywhere that matters. I have footage of you falling, confused episodes, private datings. Emma's going to be heartbroken when she sees how far you've declined. Those weren't confused episodes, I said, understanding flooding through me. You were drugging me. Michael's smile faltered for just a second, but it was enough. You're being paranoid again. The tea you've been making me every evening. That's why I've been feeling dizzy and disoriented. I backed toward the sink, putting distance between us. Emma's going to figure it out when I'm gone, and you stop making the tea. Emma thinks you've been drinking too much since your surgery, Michael said smoothly. Mixing alcohol with pain medication. Very dangerous at your age. I stared at him in horror. I don't drink. Emma knows I don't drink. Emma knows what I tell her. Michael stepped closer again. She's been so busy working to support us both. She hasn't had time to notice the details. But the cameras don't lie. The manipulation was brilliant and terrifying. He'd been systematically destroying my reputation and credibility while positioning himself as the concerned son-in-law trying to help. Emma will see through your lies eventually, I said, though my voice lacked conviction. Will she? Michael pulled out his phone again and swiped through what looked like videos. Here's one of you falling down the stairs last week. And this one where you're talking to a photo of your dead husband. Oh, and this gym where you forgot to put on pants before answering the door. Each description felt like a physical blow. I remembered those datings, but they'd seemed like isolated incidents. Normal struggles of recovery and grief. Through his lens, they painted a picture of mental decline. You caused some of those incidents, I whispered, remembering the loose stair rail I'd mentioned to Emma, the way my medication sometimes went missing. Prove it, Michael said smugly. But you can't, because you'll be long gone before Emma has time to investigate. And even if she did, who's she going to believe? Her loving husband or her paranoid mother? The trap was perfect. Complete. He'd been building it for months while I trusted him completely. What do you want from me? I asked, defeated. Michael's expression softened into fake sympathy. I want what's best for everyone involved. You write that letter to Emma, explaining that you've decided to move to assisted living. You pack a small bag and leave tonight. In exchange, the videos stay private, and Emma remembers her mother with dignity. And if I refuse? Then Emma gets to watch her mother's complete mental breakdown in high definition. Michael held up his phone. These videos will convince any judge that you need immediate psychiatric intervention. Involuntary commitment. Emma will spend years feeling guilty about not seeing the signs sooner. I sank against the counter, the weight of his manipulation crushing me. He'd engineered the perfect lose-lose situation. How long do I have? I whispered. 1 hour to write the letter and pack. Then you disappear forever. Michael checked his watch. Emma gets home at midnight. I want you gone by 11:30. I looked around my kitchen one last time, memorizing every detail. The chip in the tile by the stove where Emma had dropped her favorite mug when she was 12. The height marks on the doorframe where I'd measured her growth every birthday. The recipe cards in my handwriting, stained with decades of family meals. I'll need more than an hour to pack 22 years of memories, I said quietly. You get one suitcase, Michael replied coldly. Everything else stays here. Emma might want some keepsakes eventually. What about my car? My bank accounts? Michael's smile returned. Your car stays here. Emma might need a second vehicle. As for bank accounts, well, Emma's been managing your finances anyway since you've been so confused lately. The final piece of the puzzle clicked into place. You've been stealing from me too. I've been managing your resources efficiently, Michael corrected. Emma's going to need that money to recover from supporting you all these months. I had nothing left. No home, no money, no car, and soon, no daughter. Why? I asked, my voice breaking. Why destroy me? What did I ever do to you? Michael shrugged. You were in the way. Emma's too soft to prioritize our future over your feelings. Someone had to make the tough choices. Emma loves me. Emma loves the memory of who you used to be, Michael said cruelly. But memories don't pay bills or build futures. You're a sinking ship, and I wasn't going to let you drag us down with you. I straightened slowly, something hardening in my chest. You know what your mistake was, Michael? Enlighten me. You underestimated me. I met his eyes without flinching. You think I'm just a helpless old man who'll roll over and die quietly. But I survived raising Emma alone. I survived burying my husband. I survived working 3 jobs and putting myself through nursing school at 40. Michael's confident expression flickered slightly. Ancient history. What matters is now. What matters is that you picked the wrong victim. I walked past Michael toward my bedroom, and he let me go, probably thinking he'd broken me completely. But I wasn't broken. I was planning. In my bedroom, I pulled out my old laptop and opened my email account. The one Emma didn't know about. The one I'd used for my work correspondence before my injury. My fingers shook as I typed, but my mind was crystal clear for the first time in months. Subject, emergency, please help me. I addressed it to my former supervisor at the hospital where I'd worked for 15 years. Then I started typing the truth. All of it. Michael's manipulation, the hidden cameras, the drugs in my tea, the financial theft, everything. I attached screenshots of my bank account, showing the suspicious transfers Michael had mentioned. I included Emma's work schedule that proved she couldn't possibly be home to witness my supposed decline. I documented every lie Michael had told. Then I sent copies to 3 more people. My neighbor Mrs. Patterson, who'd known Emma since she was a baby, my pastor who'd officiated Emma's wedding, and my lawyer who'd helped me set up my will. I opened a new email to Emma at her work address, the one Michael didn't monitor because he didn't know it existed. My darling Emma, I wrote, my tears making it hard to see the keyboard. By the time you read this, I'll be gone, but not by choice. Michael has threatened me, assaulted me, and stolen from both of us. He's been drugging me and recording me to make me appear mentally unstable. He's convinced you to sign away my house and is now forcing me to leave with nothing. I love you more than life itself, and I pray you'll see through his lies before it's too late. Your mother, who will love you forever. I attached all the same evidence I'd sent to the others, then hit send before I lost my nerve. Next, I called 911 from the landline phone beside my bed. 911, what's your emergency? I need to report a domestic assault and elder abuse, I said quietly, watching the bedroom door for any sign of Michael. My son-in-law has been drugging me, stealing from me, and just threatened me with physical violence if I don't leave my home. While waiting for the police, I quickly packed my small suitcase with essentials and important documents. I found my old jewelry box and pulled out my mother's wedding ring, the one thing I'd never let Emma talk me into selling during the lean years. The doorbell rang at exactly 10:45 p.m. Mrs. Patterson? I heard Michael's voice from the living room, confused and trying to sound innocent. What are you doing here so late? I came to check on Drew, my neighbor's firm voice replied. She called me about some trouble she's having. Oh, there's no trouble here, Michael said smoothly. Drew's been having some episodes lately. Confusion, paranoia. We're actually getting her help. That's interesting, Mrs. Patterson said dryly. Because the Drew I know is sharp as a tack, and these police officers would like to speak with her. I heard Michael's sharp intake of breath, followed by the sound of heavy footsteps entering my house. Ma'am, I'm Officer Rodriguez. We received a call about domestic assault and elder abuse at this address. I walked out of my bedroom carrying my suitcase, my spine straight and my head high. Michael stood in my living room surrounded by 2 police officers and Mrs. Patterson, his face pale with shock. That's her, I said calmly to Officer Rodriguez. Michael Williams. He assaulted me in my kitchen 20 minutes ago and has been systematically abusing me for months. Ma'am, that's completely false, Michael protested, his voice cracking slightly. My mother-in-law has been having mental health issues. Delusions, paranoid episodes. We've been trying to get her help. Officer Rodriguez looked at me carefully. Ma'am, can you tell me what happened tonight? I told them everything. The assault, the threats, the hidden cameras, the drugging, the financial theft. Michael's face grew paler with every detail. These are serious accusations, Officer Rodriguez said. Do you have any evidence? I've already emailed documentation to several people, I replied. Bank records, my daughter's work schedule proving she couldn't witness what he claims, and medical records showing no history of mental health issues. Mrs. Patterson stepped forward. I can also testify that I've observed this man exhibiting controlling and suspicious behavior. Officers, this is clearly a misunderstanding, Michael said desperately. My wife will be home soon. She can explain everything. Actually, your wife is already here, Officer Rodriguez said, stepping aside. Emma walked through the front door, her face streaked with tears and her work uniform rumpled. She'd obviously been crying in her car before coming inside. Dad? She whispered, looking between Michael and me with confusion and growing horror. Hello, sweetheart, I said softly. Did you get my email? Emma nodded, pulling out her phone. I left work the minute I read it. Dad, is this true? Has Michael been hurting you? Michael stepped toward her. Emma, your mother is having another episode. I was trying to handle it quietly before you got home. Another episode? Emma's voice was sharp. Michael, what episodes? Dad's been fine every time I've talked to her. You've been working so much, you haven't noticed, Michael said, but his confident tone was cracking. The confusion, the falls, the paranoia. Emma looked at me with new understanding. Dad, have you been confused or paranoid? Only when Michael made me tea. I replied quietly. The truth unraveled quickly after that. The police found the hidden cameras Michael had bragged about. Emma's work schedule proved she'd been home most evenings, contradicting Michael's claims about her working constantly. The bank records showed Michael had indeed been stealing from both of us. I can't believe I trusted you, Emma whispered to Michael as Officer Rodriguez placed handcuffs on his wrists. I signed over Dad's house because you said it would help with taxes. I believed you when you said she was declining. Emma, please, Michael begged as they led him toward the door. I was trying to protect our future. Your mother was holding us back. My mother raised me alone and sacrificed everything for my future, Emma replied coldly. While you've been unemployed for 8 months, living off our money and plotting to steal our home. After Michael was arrested and the police finished their report, Emma and I sat together on my couch in the quiet house. Dad, I'm so sorry, she cried, holding my hand. I should have seen what he was doing. You trusted someone you loved? I said, stroking her hair. That's not a character flaw, sweetheart. Can you forgive me? I pulled my daughter closer, breathing in the scent of her shampoo, the same brand she'd used since high school. There's nothing to forgive. You're my daughter, and I love you. That never changed, even when I thought I'd lost you forever. 6 months later, Michael was serving 18 months for elder abuse, fraud, and theft. Emma had moved back into my house, our house, while we worked together to rebuild our relationship and our finances. And every Sunday, we cooked dinner together in my kitchen, the same recipes I'd taught her when she was 16, surrounded by her childhood drawings and the love that no manipulator could ever truly destroy. If you like this story, please subscribe to the channel and let us know your thoughts in the comments.